Hi, I'm Miranda HP.
And I'm Connor Calloway.
And together we are
the Bountiful Bards.
Thanks for tuning in to our one-on-one D&D podcast,
The Fountains of Cathaidra. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather.
We're recording, you know that, right?
No. Why didn't you tell me?
I did. You just stared into space.
Oh, okay.
And you said, "Behold, it comes."
What comes?
I don't know. That's what I asked you, and then you just glitched again.
I'm not getting into the business of things coming. Hello, dear. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am functional.
Functional is appropriate for our current age and demographic. That's great.
Oh, my aching bone.
I when I move, my knees go click clack, so I know they're there. They're just saying hello.
Yes. You're saying, "How dare you stood up? I shall punish you for your evolutionary hubris. You were meant to crawl on all fours like the beast you are."
Yes, yes. Well, enough of that jazz. It's fall. Today is the second day of fall, autumn, harvest day, as I like to call it in my own little world.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Let's get a few announcements out of the way before we get back into the heist.
Announcements.
It's announcements time. First and foremost, there is an Audible announcement, we hope. For my first book, Miranda and I are working on the Audible. It's currently in production, sorta, kinda. We're still getting all the fine-tuning done and deciding who's going to do what, but we're definitely going to perform it together. We are unsure if Miss Miranda is going to be doing the narration portion because she's much better at speaking than I am, as you could probably tell listening to us jabber on. And I'm only good at, word vomit, not the way I sound, just that I can keep talking without stopping. And I do all the male parts and the chapter intros and stuff like that. Or, we may flip it and I may still do the narration. It just all depends. See, that's why I don't do it. It all depends if I get better or not. So there's that. And we're kind of happy with it and got the recording booth set up. Second announcement. You want to do this one or you want me to do it?
You go ahead.
Okay. I feel like that's most of this. Is me going ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to do the work, might as well let me. We are coming up on the end of the year already for some very strange reason. And last year we did this. We took off November and December just to basically recharge our content creative batteries. It gives me a good buffer just to build into the next part of the story.
Also because we have everything on the planet to do typically in November and December. They end up being just like absolutely insane months for some reason.
Right, they are. They're for our current occupations, family matters, events being planned, going to Thanksgiving, going to Christmas. These episodes that we are recording, I think we may record one more time. We may knock out 2 or 3 episodes today, which is a rarity for us. And if we go into November, we will probably shut off sometime in there. So we may post in November, but we won't be recording or extending episodes until probably mid-January. So I hope everybody's okay with that. We will miss you. And we will desperately try not to leave it on a giant cliffhanger, or at least Miranda, in storytelling or in any type of, just in storytelling in general, I like to call it a rude cliffhanger, where ending a book on a cliffhanger is great so long as the story the portion of the story you're trying to tell in a series is finished. But ending a book like the character gets knocked out and then, ending on that note, I try not to do that. It does happen, but I've always found it to be rude if you do not try. Does that make sense?
You want like the sense of impending action as opposed to delayed action.
That is very, very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you're beautiful.
I came up with it myself.
You sure did. It's almost as if you have a master's in it.
Yeah, I have 2 degrees in the damn thing.
Where are your degrees? Why aren't they?
They're in a box.
We're hanging them on the wall.
If you can find the box they're in.
Okay, if you're going to keep threatening me with our marriage license hanging in the living room, we're going to, put up your degrees so that, you can always be reminded of what you did.
It's never a threat, Connor. It is simply a reminder.
We can put all 3 of them in the living room.
No.
Look at our meaningless accomplishments. Well, they're not meaningless.
Well, because see, like with my master's thesis, it's got a whole bunch of those like sticky tags, like the sticky note tags in it, and all of those are typos or mistakes. And I used to bring that in when I was an English professor to say, hey, no matter what level of writing you're in, you'll always make mistakes. And I'd pull out my thesis and say, all of these are mistakes.
I wish I had you as a teacher.
And I want you to know that everybody makes these mistakes. And it wasn't just I that made these mistakes. I had 2 PhDs who were there to advise and edit me through the process, and they missed these mistakes. So keep that in mind. Nobody's perfect. And it was nice because it helped kind of break the tension of like, oh God, I have to do no. And you're going to grow as a person. You're going to look back and go, ugh, cringe. That's important. You should cringe at a lot of your past. That is growth.
That phrase, when I heard it the first time, helped me through a lot of my just embarrassing moments growing up. The fact that if you have a memory of an action you did and you feel cringe for it or embarrassed or bad about it, that means you grew from it. And it should not weigh you down. Instead, it should be just a reminder that you stepped up to be better.
Exactly. So now that we've had our pep talk, I think we can continue with our imaginary world, yeah?
I want to do that, but I really like the fact that I can only see your eyes over the top of your mic cover. Can I take a picture of that?
Of course.
I want to say, yeah, there you go. That's what I need. Hold on, get it a bit higher. And click. Okay, we'll post that later. Sorry about that. The next couple episodes that come out, we probably won't get off on that long of a tangent. And who knows?
Well, we have a new setup, and I think that we're both really happy with it. We
do.
I rearranged my office. And the pro tip for anyone out there who needs to rearrange furniture, what I did was I drew it to scale on graph paper, and then I cut out the scaled shapes of all of my furniture in my office, and I moved it around on paper, so that I could kind of predict where things would go without having to move the furniture myself. It will save your floor and your back.
They do have 3D programs for that as well, but who wants to learn how to use those? Just, scale it out on paper and get good old-fashioned paper and pencils is always hard to beat, even if you're in technology.
If you're just a real tactile person, like sometimes it's nice to be able to physically see it because you can kind of look up and envision it. I mean, if you need the techie stuff or you do better with that, knock yourself out. It's just me, I like the tactile. So just because it's way quick and I don't have to frustrate myself with learning a program.
Right. Hey, real quick, how far are we in the recording already?
About 7 minutes.
That's fine. I'll just leave it in. Whenever I post, I'll be like, skip to 10 minutes if you want to get past all the gibberish and getting the butterflies out. Although, who knows, maybe one day you and I can have a side show where we're talking about like storytelling and things like that. Behind the scenes of Cathaidra.
Are you saying like an actual podcast of a podcast?
A podcast of a podcast?
Oh, no.
How deep can we go?
Ugh, we're getting too far in the weeds. Shall we continue?
We shall continue. Let me sip some of my tea. Entertain the guests while I do that.
I don't know how to do that. I could play Fur Elise, but all in F. I'm just kidding. Doesn't work the same way on piano as it does on guitar.
I'm curious. Anyways, you can show me later. All right. Leah. We should have a transition, like little transition chime whenever we do that to let people know that we're getting, just something that like we're getting into the game. Okay. Leah.
Yes.
You made your way into Castle Ordain, hanging on to the bottom of a conglomeration of supply wagons, going through the gates as they do every 2 weeks. The only time the castle opens in the past month, since they have shut all gates for one reason or another. The reasons you now know. The Anointed Lady has in her possession a powerful artifact called Observance that gives the wielder insight to those around them for their intentions. The specifics of which you're not exactly sure, but you know that that's the gist of it. You know that the individual that you are with, Candle, is the head of a thief organization within the city of Easeway, where they want to reclaim this artifact because they procured it for the Anointed Lady, and she refused to pay the toll, and even took 2 of Candle's trusted employees into her dungeons, possibly executed them. But that's not why you needed to get into this castle. You needed to get into this castle to find the Archcleric Twingle, the other powerful entity in the city, who presides over the church and the faith here in this. It slipped my mind. What is a faith-based government?
Theocracy?
A theocracy, thank you, in this portion of the theocracy. Because she holds the key to finding the fountain that is a part of your main quest.
A fountain of Cathaidra, you say?
A fountain of Cathaidra.
Roll credits.
Now, you've made it inside this busy castle. You are now currently located in an area known as the lower courtyard.
And I did a really, really badass costume change.
You really did.
I did the twirl behind the pillar, like come out and I'm a different person.
Well, twirl behind an NPC.
No, it was behind like a stack of boxes or something. Pretty sure. Because I came around the other side.
Doesn't matter what the scenery was, you still did it by rolling a natural 20.
It was baller.
It was about a 15-minute, I would say about 15 minutes have passed since you cast invisibility on your two compatriots, Candle herself, and an old friend of yours named Caslin, who has come to the city to make his way in the Thieves Guild. Oh, excuse me, jewel crafting.
Right.
Who, remember, told you that once this is done, he wants to leave the city with you because he feels like there's a greater calling than just being a petty thief, so long as he stays with you and helps you in your quest.
He's got mad FOMO from our previous encounter.
Exactly. You are located in the northeast of the lower courtyard, where there's a bunch of stables, where the supplies are being undone. It's kind of, where are we going to put all these goods while we sort through them? I don't know. Pick a corner, that kind of thing. Just make sure they're out of the walkway. But it's about 10 a.m. in the morning. You are still holding concentration on your spell for both the thieves that are around you. And I think, how long is that spell? An hour?
Yes.
You have 45 minutes left of this concentration. So, tell me, Leah, what would you like to do while inside this castle? What are your first steps?
Well, I think, if I recall correctly from last time, I believe that it was one of those, Leah's doing the thing where she is social engineering really hard. She is kind of getting a sense of the ebb and flow of where people go, paying attention to where the people that nobody pays attention to go, she's watching body posture and things like that, partially just because it's part of just her being observant in acting. But part of it is also because later if she needs to mimic somebody's posture, because, when you're at work and the C-suite people who don't do anything and they make a ton of money, the way they stand is sort of like they walk into a place and they carry sort of an insouciance with them that you can't develop unless you're in that kind of position. And then you have the people who are worried that they're going to get fired for being looked at the wrong way or for sneezing in the wrong spot. And there's that sort of bunny rabbit fear that they carry in their spine.
I like that.
I think Leah is observing who looks like that, because there's always one person, it's probably a janitor, who carries the exact same insouciance that the C-suite does, but he's earned it because he knows that he's essential to the place.
Understandable. So, you're asking for two different roles. You're requesting two different roles here, both a perception and an insight check. Are you going to try and take on a persona?
I am not at the moment.
You're just watching.
I'm gauging to see, because I have to find out where to go next. And in order to do that, I need to be invisible in the way that I am invisible, not in the way that Caslin and Bunny Lady are invisible.
Leah can blend in.
Yeah.
All right. So you have 45 minutes left of this invisibility spell. I'm going to allow you to tell me how much time you're going to allot to these checks, and that'll help set the DC. The more time you take before you roll, the lower the DC will be. So
I'm going to say probably 10 to 15 minutes, just because I need to be mingling with people.
You are currently working with the help, the supply hands moving crates. The fellow that you spoke with beforehand has kind of already given you a few orders, and you just kind of tiptoed along. He smelled faintly of alcohol, as if he drank a little too much the following night. So, okay, which one do you want to roll first?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with insight.
Insight. All right, go ahead and make your insight roll. Wagering 15 minutes.
19.
19 hits it. The DC was 17. So you are able to very easily pick up the demeanors of the help. You're able to pick up on the city lingo, how they speak to one another. You put a certain lisp to your words like they do, copying their accent a little bit. You know, maybe it's got a little country to it, not too much, but light. You know, they still work in the castle and have to be understood by the higher ups who may not speak the deep speech too well. So
they bougie.
You're definitely getting the lilt to it. You're getting when the water break is called, you're able to go over there and grab you one of the bottles there that are procured for the workers and slouch with the others and just kind of listen in. And I'm just going to roll, see if anybody recognizes that they haven't noticed or seen you before. Let's see how that goes.
Considering my caution was a nat 20, so I got to keep that in mind too.
I understand it was a nat 20.
That's fine.
No passive insight or just rolled insight as a group from any of the workers around you.
It'd be kind of low anyway, honestly, for them because they
would it now?
Like, well, no, what I'm saying.
Are you the DM now? Are you the captain?
No, I'm saying that how much do they care? They're like, it's a job. I don't give a shit.
We don't get to leave.
Like, whatever.
Like a gnat in here. Just one. I don't know how I got in the house. Oh,
plants.
Okay. Plants. Plants make gnats. It's scientific.
Yes, I only have one that eats them, okay?
As you're doing this, you hear next to you, Leah.
I nod, just into my drink. Yep.
What are we doing? What do you think? Candle says we may need to find a place to lay low. I don't know how she found me while I was invisible too.
Since I've been kind of like walking around and perusing, have I been able to determine an area where I can kind of saunter off to without drawing attention?
That's the perception check.
Oh boy. Do I get any advantage because I've been doing any of this stuff? Because I've been looking with the explicit intent to be able to saunter
I will give
off.
you advantage on this. For sure.
Which is good. That was suck. A grand old 16.
16. You look over at the half-circle staircase that climbs the wall, the good 10-foot wall up into the upper courtyard, and you see the guards there. You see no goods going up and down those staircases. All you see is them preparing boxes, running them past the guards, but you see that they walk them, if you'll look, over into this area where it seems to be, where it seems to be, and I'll draw a shape, and we're using a map here, so it's easy for all of us. A lift of some sort is stationed over here that some guards are standing near to lift supplies up into the upper area. To you, that seems like that's probably not the best bet for your buck currently. However, you look over and there is the building you know as the public meeting hall, which is the southeast portion of the map. And anybody that's listening can go to our Twitter and see that where we posted it. I would say over there, it's busy. There are people kind of lounging about up there, sweeping, cleaning, using the walkway up there to get by, but nobody's going in and out of the building. It looks unused, vacated. Basically how you feel whenever you look at an official building or like a political building, governmental building on a Friday. They're supposed to be there working, but you get the vibe hardly anybody's here, like it's a skeleton crew.
Okay. So I'm gonna just kind of like very subtly just kind of nod off to that direction because I know Caslin can see, and since he's short, I'm hoping that at his level, like it's more visible for him than anyone around me. And kind of disguise it as if I'm talking to the folks who are like, man, this sucks. It's a Friday. I want to go home. I'm like, yeah.
Well, we can't go home. Caslin goes, gotcha. And then you hear another voice, closer to your ear, more like because they're the same height as you, of Candle, going, I will go give it a look. We'll go inside and find a spot. Look for the second floor. There will be a glint in your eye come noon. You can find us there.
Cool.
Cool?
Yep.
All right. So you hear very softly one pair of one pair of feet move away. Just one, not two. Unsurprising. The rest of the time goes by, and you feel, even though you try and cling on to the spell as hard as you can, you feel just that portion of your energy and your power just kind of dissipate outside of your control. You know, it's like holding your breath. You try as hard as you can, but at some point you've got to breathe in, and that's what it feels like whenever your magic releases. It's just like you taking you resetting, exhaling, inhaling, whichever feels more comfortable with the narrative. But you are still among these other individuals. So, is there anything else you would like to do in this area before you make any movements, or tell me what you want to do next? What would you like?
Just kind of the usual cursory examination. Entry points, exit points. Even if they're closed, that's not the point. I just need to know where they are. Bathrooms, aka outhouses or whatever.
There are some lining the eastern wall up against this.
Is there always a line to the women's? Always. There's always a line.
Yes, you have. I mean, yeah, you have 10. You have like 5 set up for the guys, only 2 for the women, and then one in the middle that just has a question mark on it.
Yeah, just do your business and get out.
Whatever, we don't care. Extra utilities, as it were.
Take your shit, wash your hands.
Yeah, this whole section of the map is definitely where they put all the disorganization. But you can see that across the way, at the letter D, at the southwestern portion of the map, there is the garrison, and you see the garrison. There are, on the left-hand side of the Glower Castle, you see they are out there training with spears. The lance is well oiled. They're not lounging. Their uniforms are the way they should be. Quite impressive. This is definitely not your average guard post. This is individuals who take their job very seriously, even though there's nothing ever going on.
And just in passing, not like too intently. I'm gonna glance at the officers, and I'm gonna see if any of them have a uniform. It's a little too clean. The ones that the lower soldiers resent a little bit, and you can tell they might be a little too polite to them, or there might be those glances or kind of mutters when they turn their back. So somebody who their uniform doesn't have sweat marks, it doesn't have any creases from where they've been doing stuff.
For that, I would definitely say another insight check. Because, I mean, do you think it should be an insight check? Because you're specifically looking.
Yeah.
Perception for me as a DM is always, I want to get a glance of the area, or I kind of want to look for something just not vague, but not specific. If that, more a generalization of the area. Insight is definitely more like you're watching. Like
21.
Okay. Oh yeah, you definitely see one, and that may be why they are so well regimented, is because there is I would say an elf-looking fellow. He is pretty, and his clothes are pristine, well-tailored. Everything is perfect the way it should be. He has a military cut to his golden hair with brown streaks in it. It's kind of got the... I don't think I've ever mentioned, I may have, but at least around here, they definitely have the whole... What is a high and tight probably okay for this type of area?
It could be.
I would say that, but the top of his hair is kind of like how you have your hair shaved all the way around.
Yeah,
his is that way as well, but he does have a slick back going on, but it is well kept and tidy. He holds his helmet under one shoulder as he walks, and he is wearing his sword on his heel.
Under one arm, you mean?
Under one arm, yeah. Well, technically it's under his shoulder.
Well, I mean, most things are under your shoulder.
Most people say under their arm, yeah. That'd be weird. Most of the good writers say under their arm.
Wedged into his armpit. No, I'm more looking for that because, if I ever have to mimic a soldier or anything, usually the officers who are like real tight asses and I would stick up their ass, it's always a safe bet to be like, man, did you see fucking Major Snob Face over there? Like, they don't ever say their actual name. So I'm kind of just like, just paying attention to that pattern as well. Because it doesn't matter how highly oiled your machinery is, they're still people.
Right, absolutely.
And if there's somebody who's a little too much of a hard ass, you become the grit in the gears. And there's always going to be an opposition to that. So, like I said, I was also looking for the one that they do respect. So I want to see who the opposing forces are.
Okay.
Because that's the danger, is the opposing force.
Is the one that they do respect.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the danger, because that's the one who will lay his life down for his men. The other guy will probably turn tail. If he had to.
I will say you do not catch anybody of that making. Not that he doesn't exist. He's just probably not currently out on the training field. He could be, who knows, doing paperwork. meeting with important officials, doing setting up routine inspections, setting up surprise inspections. Those are always fun. And I love how you put that, because Sanderson did that in The Way of Kings, where Dalinar, once he takes over a certain regiment of soldiers, they have a cook fire night, which is outside the regulations of the army. And his initial thought is I need to break this up. You need to do what is right. You need to get you need to go to mess like everybody else, instead of having a campfire of stew every night. And he decides that that's the bad thing to do. He does not want to break up that tradition, because that's one of the reasons these men are who they are, and why they are so loyal and good at their job, is because they have these moments of kinship. So agreeing with you, I'm just saying that that's amazing verbiage you had there.
Yeah, just I'm looking for those patterns in behavior, because everybody has patterns, and it might save my life.
Right.
So just checking, and making my way to the meetup with Bunny and so on and so forth. But I'm doing it in the same kind of way. Like I said, I've been mimicking postures. I've been mimicking the way that they talk and stuff like that. And since, like you said, it's sort of a government building at the end of the day thing, I feel like the thing that would be just one of those, like, man, that sucks, but then immediately forget about kind of thing, is if I kind of have a piece of paper and be like, damn it, I can't believe that they want this now, because, like, why can't you just wait? Just sort of that, like, nothing coherent, just the sort of, like, the kind of, like, sympathy of, like, oh, man, I hate it when I have to go grab something, like, right on a Friday, 4:45 p.m., you're making me go do that right now. You had all day, but you picked now.
Give me just a generalized deception roll. The tension builds.
Deception?
Yeah.
I don't remember now. Hold on.
It's okay. Take your dice roll and add it to that little number next to deception.
No, I know. It's just a big number.
Yeah, we don't have a degree in mathematics for a reason. We were in history and English, the two
26.
The two sides of the education system that most people are like, you don't need that.
No, it's because you asked me. If you hadn't asked me and if I had just been listening, I would have been able to give the answer immediately. But because you asked me, my brain went, someone's paying attention to you.
So with a 26, you are now the supervisor of this entire area and the new boss. No. With a 26, you can break away, no problem. Nobody's going to notice you. In fact, there is a whistle that blows, and it seems to be time for lunch as you start smelling bread coming out and some type of soup or anything like that. But everybody's starting to line up for a table being set up with the daily meals. Everybody's getting the same sack lunch kind of thing.
Lentil stew. Lentil stew.
Yeah, a whole bunch of lentil stew.
Oh, man, they're going to be gassy.
Ugh, lentil stool. I thought about
Ew.
feces. All right. So while they're going one way, which is in the opposite direction of the public meeting hall, you're going to go back towards that?
Well, yeah, I've got a piece of paper.
No problem.
I have the piece of paper.
And
I'm somebody who's walking with a purpose and a piece of paper.
Speaking of pieces of paper, you pass a notice board and something catches your eye.
I look at it. What does it say?
Wanted, dead or alive, Jimothy and Leah Wicker. Adversary of the faith. Dangerous. 5,000 gilns each for capture. 1,000 gilns for any information pertaining to the subjects. And you see on there is a etched out, there is a sketch of both Jimothy and you right next to each other. And it looks like a regular old mugshot. Like the two of you look, Jimothy's face, he's got a smirk a little bit as he's like, look, if there was a camera, it's like he's facing the artist and there's a little bit of a smirk and a twinkle in his eye. And then it looks over at you and the artist definitely drew you more with a frown on your face and more like, squinty, leery, glary kind of eyes. And for some reason you're wearing like a hat. You don't know why, but your hair is down straight and stuff like that. So
my first wanted poster.
But it's hanging up there, fresh and clean over a few other postings.
Is there any way for me to grab it without attention?
Yeah, with a sleight of hand check.
Is anybody looking?
No, they're going to lunch. I already told you that.
I'm just making sure.
Nobody is paying attention to you.
Oh, good.
You decepted your way out of it. It should be stealth.
Dirty 20.
Not stealth. Why are you... Give me those dice. You need to use my dice. Well, they're loaded.
Well, they go and they look at 4s or whatever, and then they tilt over, and I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, you can very easily it's just pinned up by 2 pins, and yep, you just walk up looking like you're looking at another notice, something about, help wanted in certain areas. I'm going to
compare the paper I have to something on the board as if I'm like,
come join the Lance, blah, 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 things like that. And yeah, you can easily, while you're looking at the come join the Lance poster, with your right hand, with your left hand, Leah, just very easily, just one little snitch, a little bit of a rip, and you fold it with one hand and are able to tuck it away.
Yep. And I paid attention to the expression they had me making in it so that I can do the opposite.
Right. Oh, very Assassin's Creed going around and you gotta get all the wanted posters to take down your notoriety.
Yeah. Well, it's more of just like they have me squinty eyed, so I keep my eyes wider. I keep like that faint smile, so that because it changes like the actual shape of your face.
Actually doe eyed a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit, but sort of like a, oh no, I'm being asked to do things with a little like wrinkle in front and so on and so forth. And if that picture had me a little bit more hunched, stand up a little bit more, all that good stuff. So just kind of doing an opposite of whatever they had.
You can do that with one of your eyes. The other eye actually instinctively is trying to twitch close as sunlight is being beamed directly into it for one reason or another.
Yes, and I'm making my way to the light.
And if you will just so gesture at the map, the sunlight seems to be coming from the second story of this building here. That I just did a little thingy I didn't mean to do.
Right. Well, that's where I was headed anyway, because she did.
And you're going to be about this area, which is the front entrance.
Okay.
The door opens easily. As soon as you go inside, you hear the door echo, like you're like, oh, this place is empty. And inside there is a beautiful hallway with wooden floors, wooden hardwood floors of a solid oak, very similar to how we have in our house. With columns going up good 25 feet to either side, holding up. This entire room is first and second stories, and there is a balcony running along the top. You would imagine if this is a public meetup hall, that this is the area where most of the people are coming into to start, which way's the theater, which way's the amphitheater, where's all that at? Which actually you glance to your right, which is not the way you're going, and you can very easily see through 2 double doors just stadium seating, and beyond it you see something very reminiscent of the pipe organ stadium or stage that you saw in Radian when you were there, when you got teleported there.
Cool.
So I'm just throwing that out there just in case somebody has itchy fingers.
Well, not now. I think that'd be a dead giveaway.
True. Like in Iron Man 1 when Rhodey's looking over at the War Machine prototype and he's like, not today.
Yeah. No, not yet. Not yet.
But you have to go left.
Yeah.
Which you do.
And I'm not going to walk in the middle of the hallway. I'm going to walk along the edge in case there's dust.
Yeah. And you pass a individual, it's a turtle folk actually, with wearing some brown pants and boots and like pullovers and stuff like that. And they're just mopping the floor and they just kind of look up at you, go by and they go, how's it going?
I'm going to shake the paper and just do that kind of exasperated thing.
Uh-huh. You need to get a job like me. Nobody catches me in here. I mopped this same spot for 3 hours now.
And it looks amazing.
It's my lunchtime. I don't have to talk anymore. Have a good day.
You too.
All right.
Keep up the good work.
And then he just kind of puts his mop to the side and kind of gets it on the ground and slowly goes into his shell. As if he's going to take a nap for lunch.
Hey, might as well.
Yeah, nap for lunch is very tasty.
Ain't nobody gonna come in there. It's fine.
You get to the end of the hall.
And we can't fire him.
There's 2 doors there, and one of them is set ajar.
A jar? There's a jar?
Yeah,
what's in the jar?
It's holding the door open.
Ah!
There's nothing in it.
Oh, it's not Scanlan's poop?
No.
Okay. I will peek in.
You peek in. Empty. Inside you see it's a sub entrance hall. So you got the great hall that you just
the vestibule.
I guess the vestibule is great. That's like a small, like, a secondary room, pretty much adjacent to a main one. Is that what?
The vestibule is the main one where you walk in, and the vestibule is kind of like the opening kind of hallway where you get like, when you walk into an actual theater and it's like, okay, you go into the vestibule and then you go into the main area.
Yeah. So this is the vestibule, but there are steps going up, it seems, and to the second floor. and you can actually see sunlight coming from the second floor. You just
So
have
this
to
is
climb the
almost
steps.
like a cloakroom.
Cloakroom.
Ticket,
Do you
please.
climb the stairs?
I mean, you can to get to the next balcony. Or are you asking if that's what I do?
Yeah. You don't see anybody around as you open the door.
Yeah, why not?
As you climb to the second stairs, you look out and in front, and there are another pair of arched double doors and with large glass windows in them, and you are seeing out into what looks like the upper courtyard.
Okay. Which, like, am I walking towards where they would have been able to flashlight at me?
You get the idea that, yeah, over here.
I follow the whisper.
You look over, and there is indeed a door open to your left. So when you walk up the stairs, it's a U-shaped balcony, and you literally are walking into the bottom of the U, or the bottom of the N, whichever. Doors in front of you going to the upper courtyard, and then there's two rooms. I hit a rubber ducky. Excuse me, rubber ducky. There are 2 rooms to your left and right.
Okay, so I go to the voice.
All right. You look over and you see Caslin is over just waving at you. Go inside and he says, here. And then he slowly shuts the door behind you with a click. And you are now in this smaller, you would say, cloakroom, storage room, such. There's even a ladder that's climbing up into the ceiling right there. And Caslin very carefully starts climbing up the ladder.
I follow.
All right. Up in the top, it's a lofty type area, and there's like a circular window that you saw that the light was coming from earlier. That candle is now up there, kind of like surveying the entire courtyard from up here as you come up here as well.
I really picture in the Wanted poster, kind of like from Tangled. It's like, they never get my nose right.
Is that Jimothy? Or
well, I'm saying like that would be like Jimothy's line, sure, because it's Flynn Rider. That's his line and he's like, they never get my nose right. And it's always like some ridiculous nose thing.
Okay. Good job down there, Leah. Did you get any information?
I got the lay of the land. There is an officer that they definitely don't like very much. It's
Cadbury.
Is that the name?
I believe so.
Nickname?
I believe that's his actual name is Cadbury.
No, I'm asking what his nickname is. Do the men call him, like, I don't know, Cream Egg or something?
I don't know enough about the Lance's inner working rumors to have a nickname. I've just seen him from the reports.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I need to know is the guy's name. Cadbury.
And Kendall's there wearing their full thieves regalia, just like Caslin, both, browns, grays, and green leathers, very quiet. Her bunny ears are both tucked back very loosely because it would hurt to tie ears back with a hard cord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But her ears are pulled back with like a soft leather strap just to keep them so they're not in the way.
Sure.
Because she may be more intimidating to have like upright ears, but her ears are definitely more of the floppy kind.
Yeah, well,
and
can't have everything.
With her brownish fur, but she never turns to look at you when she says that. But as you ask about the Lance individual that they don't like, her eyes turn and glance, and you can see he's like a beacon in the courtyard. He's like a mirror reflecting the sun.
Yep.
Anything else?
I got my first Wanted poster.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm going to store it away.
I've yet to receive one.
Yeah, well, hazard of being a bard rather than, anything else is we stand out a little bit more.
A rogue? Yes. Yeah. We try not to gain attention, but to each their own and not a slight. Good job.
Thanks. I'm going
Cass is like, I kind of want one now.
Right. I'm going to pull out like my, makeup compact and just change my makeup a little bit.
Okay.
Emphasize maybe like a little dark on the inside, because what that will do is it actually pulls your eyes closer together. It makes you look. It changes the shape of your face pretty dramatically without doing very much. So just a little bit. And I'm going to shift blush further out. It's going to give me kind of a weird asymmetrical look, but it should change enough of the dynamics of my face without doing anything too dramatic, because it'll still look natural. It'll still look like a normal thing, but it will change my face shape.
Give me a deception check.
18.
18? Sus.
No, I'm sorry.
No, you're not sorry. It's just you always rolling high, and I'm like, what are those dice? loaded?
Well, I get +7 for deception.
Oh yeah, I forget you're powerful. Yeah, that's right. My bad. That's you're proficient in it.
I was making sure I remembered it was +7 or +6, and it's
Right.
+7. So
As
11 +7 is 18.
The likelihood of you succeeding goes up as you level, and it's part of the game. Kendall goes, Leah, come here. Let me show you.
Yeah.
As you can see across the way is the garrison, and also the watchtower that gives the garrison access to the wall, lining all of us. At the very north of the building, that is where the Anointed Lady is, and that is where the artifact is. Somewhere. We have to find out where.
And we need to find her.
The Archcleric.
Well, I need to get the key off of her for my thing.
She has the key.
Well, most likely. You said she's paranoid. I very much doubt she'd keep it far from her. And perhaps in finding one, we may find the other.
Just to make sure it is accurate, the Anointed Lady is the one that's paranoid. The Archcleric is acting paranoid by moving into the castle where she usually doesn't stay. She usually stays in her own cathedral.
Well, right, that's what I mean. Is like there's been a lot of that motion and stuff going on.
Maybe we can say they both are. Why on earth would the Archcleric be paranoid right now is beyond me.
Because I caused problems.
Candle states, since the day is one of the faith's days of gathering, I would assume she is currently at the cathedral. However, she shall return by the evening, and she takes where does it sleep? She takes I just had a word blank. Refuse.
No, that's poop.
That's poop. Yeah, she takes refuge. Well,
Repose.
She could take refuse inside there. Anyways,
She takes a dump right on the bed.
Her
Yells at the door until they come and clean it.
Her dwellings are the smaller manor, just outside that door below us.
Smaller manor, outside door below.
Mm-hmm. The letter G, the guest house.
Ooh, okay. Guest house. Cleric in
G. Caslin says,
house.
We can't go out that door, apparently. We were looking at it, and Candle believes that it is alarmed. So,
Ooh.
magically alarmed. And Candle goes, I was careful looking for it when I made it to these doors here. It would be so easy just to go from inside this empty building and straight into the second upper courtyard, but I knew what to look for and found that, yes indeed, the door is alarmed. Should I pick it, which I can, and open it, which I will, magic will alert the garrison, and they will be here within minutes. I clocked them at 7 minutes to have men of 20 currently en route.
So, since y'all have been up here, people who are prestigious tend to not do a lot of things for themselves. Where's the staff? Does the staff change out? Where do they come from? Where do they go? Where do they come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Most of the staff are usually housed within each of the areas that they take care of.
Right, but they have to take smoke breaks. They got to step outside. I mean, all this stuff just came in. I'm sure some of it has got to be supplies for them. Where are those supply lines? Like when they were bringing stuff on the lift, where do they go?
They seem to be doing so now. So let us see where they go.
Yeah, that's what I want to observe.
You watch as mainly the supplies start heading off into the area between the guest house and the main house manor. Splitting up, going towards the left side of the guest house, the right side of essentially this little area. If you look at the map, in the top right of the map,
okay, they're
being taken there, and then they go out of sight because you can't see them from your perspective. I can't talk.
Okay.
So, and if you kind of want to know what your perception is, I can tell you. It's about, oops. 1 second, everybody. I gotta do a click. You can see about that outside the building, which is, you're looking out over the main courtyard. You can't really see the guest house from where you are because you're facing in a 45-degree direction, different direction.
Okay.
Kendall says, that's very good. A thought that, of course, we have. Most thieves try to always look for the side doors or other ways in. I feel, since the cleric is not currently here, we must wait until she returns. But if you say what you're saying is true, and if she's so wearing this key you need, we won't be able to take it from her easily if she's awake.
That is true.
She is quite powerful in her abilities.
That is also true. I need to get... So, is all the foodstuffs here? Do they have like a little... Because most places, and I'm sure Pope can yell at us if we're wrong, but most places they have a kitchen garden, typically, and it has like herbs, maybe a few things hither and yon, so that... Because they're much better when they're fresh. They're super easy to grow.
I do understand that, but I would believe there is no garden of such here. And because you just look around and there's just no soil. It's just all dark stone. Except for the upper courtyard, which seems to be a different, like I've said before, it's a different, newer color of stone. The lower courtyard is the darker form. It just seems, it kind of feels dreary. Like, it's just like, wow, this is like, there's no life here. It's just people forced to live inside of it kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was just wondering, because, yeah, most of the time, they'll have like even just like a window box or something in the kitchen where they grab herbs from and stuff. And I just wanted to see if there was anything that looked even remotely like that, so I could kind of take a look-see at what herbs they've got going on. But nobody. I'm next to a crazy-ass rogue. I'm pretty sure she's got what I need if this thing I am potentially thinking of doing will come to fruition.
Are you gonna voice what you may be doing to them?
Okay, so here is one of my...
Or to your DM even?
Yeah, here's one of my thoughts, and Candle, you can tell me what you think of this. You're a rogue. I'm sure you have all kinds of questionable ungulants and things on your person. One thing that they always have, especially as we've noted with the faith, is they eat, and as all people do. And it might be easy enough to show up as a chef or a chef assistant and kind of blend in that way. And should you have anything on your person resembling, say, valerian root or something similar, which valerian root is a real thing, and it makes you sleepy.
Okay.
Valerian root or anything similar is just an herb. It's just a plant, and it's pretty normal, or anything along those lines. And it's one of those things where it won't make you sick. It's not a poison, but it will make you sleepy.
I do have sleep powder that is tasteless and scentless.
It would need to be subtle.
It is subtle, depending on how much you mix in.
Yes.
For someone she just kind of looks, her eyes start looking up, and they start like rapidly moving, like she's doing calculations. Someone of her height, her appetite, her metabolism, based on the reports that I have, 3 thumbs should do it. 3 tiny thumbs should do it.
This is the kind of thief I like having around, is one who does math about metabolic consumption. Yeah. I didn't say that in game. I said it outside because I'm entertained.
If you're the head of a thieves guild, you need to know how much poison will put someone to sleep, make them sick, or kill them. Quickly, slowly, for discussions and things like that.
Yeah,
anyways.
It's more of like I want them to feel like they had a big turkey dinner and I'm like, whew, man, that food got me this time, and not be suspicious in the slightest. Like, that's the main thing. So that is sort of one of my ideas, because, you know, you can definitely come on, like, be like, get them all yelling, be like, yes, chef, and to the point where they're just like doing things and then they don't question anymore because they're too busy following orders, because people like to, and kitchens are chaos.
I got you. Candle goes, would you by any chance have a way to open that door?
From 30 feet, potentially.
What can you do?
I can have a magic hand open it.
If it opens, the alarm will sound. Is there any way you can erase the magic around it? I have heard of spells that can do that. If not, we will find a different means.
I don't think I ended up getting that.
That's okay.
I don't think I...
She doesn't know. That's why she's asking. She doesn't know what you're capable of. It's not your DM asking you. It's her.
No, because I brought this up last time, and yeah, I don't think I have anything that can do that. No, I don't have anything that can dispel magic, unfortunately.
Okay. Candle thinks for a minute.
I've been trying, but apparently I suck.
No, you don't suck. Don't say that. But remember, positivity. That's your husband talking to his
I
loving
know.
wife. We're both
So much better if I could do that.
We do that for each other. We can't use knock because that's very loud.
Yeah, and I removed that last time anyway because it's kind of counterproductive to most of what I've been doing.
Right,
lately.
which is espionage and skulking, sneaking.
And I can only change spells when I level up. I can't do it at a long rest like every other character I've played. Anyway, continue. I'm stuck with my poor choices.
It's very true. Candle goes. Then we need to find another means.
Sort of why I was suggesting the whole cooking chefy route, because they go in earlier to start prepping the meals.
More than likely, the chef is already there. We would have to find a means to get you up and inside.
Mm-hmm.
Can you cook?
Yeah.
How to
My
get you?
dad taught me. Of course I can cook.
You will have to make your way over to the guest house without being spotted. Get inside, and you would have to find a means to take on the uniform of their cook, whoever is in there helping, without also being noticed by the other staff who knows what the cook looks like.
Well, I wasn't saying to replace the chef. I was more thinking of I'm celebrity chef so-and-so. You don't know who I am, and you're calling that a Ramelade? Get back in there. And if I see that in my face again, just kind of overwhelm them with like the Gordon Ramsay sort of thing. Like they'll just be so terrified that they'll just be like, yeah, yes, chef.
I love that idea. As a Connor, the DM, I do love that idea. Perks on that. So
that's just one idea.
Caslin just goes, so we just got to get you in there.
And what I was thinking might be a way to do it is because, Candle, I have a lingering suspicion that you're very, very good at being sneaky, is I could take Caslin here as my assistant and have him carrying a box of foodstuffs. And, if this is an amphitheater, is it a theater? Are there costumes? Because we could get something vaguely chef-like, and I can come out with the scroll thing and say, this is an absolute outrage. This is ridiculous. Where is this? Where are my supplies? I was told this, and just kind of like force bluster my way into the kitchen and just start terrifying the bejesus out of people until the food is done. And then what you do is right as they prepare the plate, there's that moment of silence where they're all terrified because they want to know what you think. And I taste it and they all hold their breath.
Okay.
And I say, not bad.
Okay. I'm smiling because I gave you a public meeting house that has an amphitheater inside of it. I by no means sat there and thought that you would think of, do they have a costume closet? And you know what? It makes so much damn sense that they do. That is just a wonderful tidbit you added to this entire setup. So I love that. So Caslin goes, yeah. So me and Leah can go down to the amphitheater and see if we can find a costume if they have one. And then Kendall goes, and I can see if I can find us a way to get around this door. We shall meet back here in an hour, and then we shall keep quiet until it is time to move at night.
Perfect.
Go. I will wait.
All right.
All right. So you and Caslin make your way down back through the main hall. It's one of those, you walk into this room and you're like, dear God, how is it this big? And you're walking across an airplane hangar. You're like, oh, it's not too far. But then you get halfway across and you're like, I'm fucking winded.
You're like, I'm still walking.
Right. You do get there and you do walk inside of this beautiful amphitheater and you look down and up front, you do see a very beautiful piano sitting there, organ. But that's not what you're worried about. What you're worried about is just the areas behind it. And the turtle man is still inside his shell asleep. And I will say,
we'll
yes.
Tiptoe on by.
Eventually, you find a closet full of all stagecraft that you need, that anybody would need to perform, on a stage, to give it a play, that the royalty will definitely come and see. We've got to go to the theater and get shot. So, you're inside there. So let's give you with advantage. Let's give you a investigation check or a perception check.
And I want, if Caslin is helping me too, so let's see. Let's do investigation, shall we?
Yeah.
I rolled the same number.
And what number was that?
I rolled a 15,
A 15?
and my investigation is plus 8.
Oh
so
my God.
23.
You will fail at some point, and it's going to be glorious.
I don't want to. I'm so scared of failing.
I know, but that's part
I'll let everybody down.
Oh, Miranda. Anyways, Leah, you find a costume worthy of chefdom. It is a beautiful gray coat, black slacks, and pants that looks like it would fit you perfectly, with black buttons that clasp on the right-hand side for sure. They don't do chef's hats here.
No, and you wouldn't want to anyway. You have your hair slicked back.
Right, exactly. But the beautiful gloves that match the pants and boots as well. It's perfect for what you're looking for.
And I'm going to find a scarf to tie up my hair.
Okay. And Caslin goes, hey, look what I found. And he found another outfit very similar to yours, just not as nice, that he can pseudo match you. He goes, I can help.
So, question for you: if prestidigitation can clean stuff up, can it also, and it can create all kinds of effects and stuff like that? Can it do the opposite? Can it smudge stuff? No.
It's always clean. Just clean.
Okay. So, well, I mean, I'll prestidigitate because I want to get any of the stains and stuff off.
Yeah, no, it's just
dust.
dusty, and you like that, and it's like dry clean. Like,
yeah, so no muskiness.
No musk.
And then what I'm gonna do is
you can make things smell better too.
Yeah, just I don't want it to smell like it's been in a closet for a long time.
Gotcha.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll the sleeves up.
Okay.
And like scrunch them real hard, roll them back down, roll them up, roll them down, do it like multiple times so there's creases in the elbows. And I'm gonna, with the hem of the pants, I'm gonna basically put them on the floor and step on them and like.
Gotcha.
And then brush them off so they don't look dirty. They just need to look like they're frayed and worn in those areas.
That's definitely going to lessen the DC of the deception check later. Good job. And
I'm going to look for a crate, like a small enough one that Caslin can carry it, but I need it to be a little bit large so it looks a little bit cartoonishly difficult for him.
I will definitely say you can find an empty crate that looks like that, yes.
And I'm sure there are going to be plenty of props. So I'm going to select the nicest looking cooking utensils because a chef always carries her own cooking utensils.
Sure, there's plenty in there. Wooden spoons, wooden forks. There's even a cast iron skillet about the circumference is of Caslin's head.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's about all I can carry though.
Good. And I'm going to kind of like put it in there, and I'm going to get like an extra apron and put it in there as well. Like, and then hand it to him because I want to make sure, I want the impression to be like he kind of has to peek his head around the crate a little bit.
I got you, Miranda. You've sold me.
I'm just explaining what I want it to look like.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Because I want the people who are watching him follow me to kind of have the sympathy thing.
Even better.
Oh man, you got stuck carrying.
Are you sure you're not a sociopath?
You got stuck carrying the bitch's stuff, huh? And he's like,
help me somebody.
You know, like that kind of thing, because that helps alleviate a lot of suspicion immediately because there's somebody they can humanize with.
I have to make pudding at 4 a.m. So it's the only way that helps her sleep.
Yes. That's the vibe I'm going for, is that he's a beleaguered assistant, but he would absolutely kill his own family to have this position because can you imagine?
Yeah, I can imagine. So we will definitely see how the deception check goes later on.
The culinary schools that he applied to, the type of hours he put in order to have this job with this chef. What is her chef name going to be?
I think you're more immersed than I am right now. Keep going. What is the chef name?
Remy.
Chef Remy.
Oui, chef.
Yes.
Yes, I am Chef Remy. You have not heard of me?
Oh, goodness. Okay. All right.
And you think this is appropriate? I will speak
like,
to your supervisor if I did not have to get this started right now. Out of my way.
But you are my supervisor.
Well, as if I were talking to the guards.
It's like you're practicing. He's
yes.
Like, okay, sorry, you just made me really feel like it was real. Good.
And in the props, I'm looking for anything like cookbook-esque. Not because I want to carry a cookbook, but because I'm going to like pull out some pages of recipes and I'm going to scribble notes on them. Like, absolutely not. This is bullshit. Whatever. Just, and because we did establish that Leah's good at languages.
Yeah.
So she's going to scribble it out in whatever this world's version of French is. So the notes are all not in the common tongue. They're going to be in this world's version of French.
There is no version of French here. There's only one language is common.
Well, then how can she have a different accent?
She's from a different part of of Cathaidra.
But I wanted it to be French.
You can do French. No one's gonna. Everybody speaks a racial language. It's fine. There's dialects everywhere. I told you there was the Bumpkin folks as well. You can go French. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna punish you for being creative.
I just wanted to add.
Your DM is not gonna throw you in the prison.
I like to picture that Leah gets so involved that she doesn't realize she's writing in French. She's just doing it. I feel like Leah is a theater kid for sure, who gets way into her roles.
You don't say. You make your way back across, and the turtle man is still sitting there mopping up the same area and goes, "How's it going?
It's
Good
going.
to see you."
You too.
Goes back to mopping.
Yep.
You get back to Candle, and she states, "Well, very good, very good. I think I've procured a means to get us over there, but it'll be a little more dangerous. The opposite room, I was able to pry up the roof, and it just so happens we can pry up the ceiling. It just so happens we can hop on the roof from there and scale the wall. It's only 5 feet higher. But we have to make our way a good 100 meters to the guest house on top of the wall where the guards patrol. So we have to time it perfectly. We have to be quiet. And we may have to take out some individuals that are just doing their job. Are you comfortable with that?"
We'll do what we have to.
"We shall."
I guess we can't bring the crate then, but I can shove as much of the stuff in my,
You can bring the crate. Caslin just has to hold it. Who knows? Maybe he can hide behind it.
Oh.
Hey, 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 hey.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
So Kendall goes, "What time do you think we should head out?"
Well,
It'll need to be darker.
Yeah, so dinner time around here is...
Whenever they feel like eating, they have to be ready at all times.
Yeah, but people like routines.
She usually comes in later in the evening.
So probably, I would say an hour before, because we have to make sure that the kitchen's prepped. Like, meals take time to get ready and to ensure that the service is ready and everybody's ready to go, go, go.
We shall see. Let us wait till the sun goes down. If Twinkle hasn't reappeared at the gates by then, we can start to make our move.
Absolutely.
I hope you're ready.
Are you?
Always.
Yay. And I'll need your powder, and we'll need to have everything ready to go.
That is where this episode is going to stop.
Dun.
Before you go on one of your other tangents, everything will be as you planned. Very good. That's awesome. I'm excited. The heist is afoot, and when we come back, we will find the left one just as soon as we find the right foot. That is.
Oh.
Say goodbye, Miranda.
Goodbye, Miranda.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Please leave a review anywhere you found us. You can reach out to us on Twitter at Bountiful Bards. We hope to see you again on the civilized road.
And bring bread and cheese.
As the story goes, until then.